And all the brothers and sisters said, "Amen."
I love that you think we're going to punch him in the mouth.
Fingers crossed, right?
And I ain't butt chugging anything.
We got to do some content here.
In the Venn diagram of fucked up, I'm not sure where that fits, but I'm pretty sure I hit the nail right on the head there.
Works well under close Nick Saban adult supervision.
Randy Sanders has the team dialed in. They are ready to go.
How many bananas do you want out of me?
Don't know. I kind of want to give Vanderbilt some love here.
I love those head games at the two.
You got to weigh all your options.
It's so much fun.
Nobody wants to go Lane Kiffin here? I might go Lane Kiffin here.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of Liquor and Leagues. Week 8 is behind us, and we are plowing ahead to week 9. Games are getting a little light, but that's okay. It doesn't stop us from talking about them nonetheless. As always, before we jump into things, gentlemen, how are you doing?
Good. Man, what a great week. What a great week.
Outstanding.
How about those games?
Hey, I'm just happy Florida didn't lose this weekend. That's all I care about. So, yes, a slate of 5 games in the week that was in the SEC. Amazingly enough, no real big shock here. Haas, Grinch, and myself, we swept the weekend. 5 wins down the board. Mac, you would have, except you didn't join us on the Lane train. You chose to take another route to your destination with LSU, and that didn't end well for you.
Bananas.
That's it.
It's practically in your mouth.
Yes, it is.
That's right.
I can taste it.
Yes.
It's so sweet.
So,
Enjoy, because that's where it starts, but you know where it ends.
yes, that's right. So let's go ahead and start.
Yeah,
we only have 5 games. So the week that will be quick. We can go ahead and jump into these. Arkansas, Pine Bluff, that was no contest, 45-3. We knew Arkansas should win that one handily. Miss State, Vanderbilt, 45-6. We all went Miss State. Again, you have been a bottom feeder for the last few years, Vanderbilt. It doesn't look like, even though you're under new management, doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon.
The only stat I'll call out on that game, Will Rogers, 41 of 57.
Wow.
That's a lot of fucking passing.
That's, I mean, you're icing the arm down after that
Jesus.
game. Easily.
And then fucking Leach's post-game interview where he's talking about almond joys and candies and shit. Jesus.
What else do you talk about when you played?
No, he did. He's a fucking whack job, but that's all I have to say about that.
Do we want to talk about Texas A&M, South Carolina, Haas? I mean, I will give you the
floor.
Yeah,
we can. That's fine.
Texas A&M, South Carolina. Now, I started watching this game, and I was just like, okay, Texas A&M is going to walk away. I think it was 34-0. At one point, there was 34-0. You'd first half, you had 11 yards.
Well,
of offense.
it was
you guys
31-0 at the half.
31-0,
and then it was 41-0 in the third quarter.
I just knew you guys hadn't scored. That's all I knew. I was just like, holy shit.
I'm just looking at the box score. I'm not trying to rub it in.
Yeah, it was funny because I saw you sent something about looks like they left their defense at home, and I thought as soon as I saw that, it looked like they left their offense at home too, and then I saw someone else posted that as well.
I posted that as well.
Yeah. So
everybody was at home.
Yes,
I mean,
Shane Beamer showed up to the game.
Look,
clearly.
And a lot of people are saying that Beamer needs to go already, and I'm like, that's just absurd. What are we doing? Like,
didn't we talk about that last week or week before? It's way
Haas,
too early.
I forget the name of the movie, but Michael Douglas is in it. And it's about the drug war, and it's when he's taking over as the drugs. He's taking over as the drug czar.
Yeah.
And the guy that he's replacing tells him the story of write 2 letters. When you get in a really difficult situation, open the first letter and it says blame everything on your predecessor. And he's like, and when you get in your second truly difficult situation, open the second letter and it says sit down and write 2 letters.
2 letters, right?
Right. No, I'm with you, Haas. I mean, fuck, it's one season. What's the man going to do other than what he has in the cabinet?
Right.
You can't. Well, I mean, if people forget, Nick Saban's first season in Alabama was not great. It wasn't great. He was like 6-7 or something like that. Like, even Saban has to have at least a season under his belt recruiting the way he wants to recruit based on the system and scheme he's going to run.
You say that. Let me ask you this, because there are some people out there in these fan pages saying, these support pages for the school or whatever, saying this is his only pass. Beamer will give you this season's pass, but next season you better not. And I'm thinking to myself,
they're
I'm
trolls.
like, what a bunch of fucking morons. I mean, you guys, like, It boggles my mind that some of these people make these just dumb backhanded comments that just are based in no reality.
Those
whatsoever.
are your comment section
because
heroes.
that's it, right? There are people that don't know anything about the sport in which they're talking about. And look, right? I mean, none of us are involved from that level in any sort of sports team, but we all are rational adults and realize, like Grinch, you said, you have to give these guys. I mean, I've said from day one, 3 years. You have to give them 3 years to get into a recruiting cycle, get the players they need, develop them, and then start, looking at, okay, you've had 3 years to recruit. You've developed these guys. You put your system in place, and you're still not getting it done. Now we need to look at something. But year one, no, you can't do it.
And I want to go ahead.
I want to bring up a point though. I'm not disagreeing with what you guys are saying, but we'll go to Florida. Dan Mullen took over in 2018. Those were not his players. He had not recruited. They were 10-3. The next year,
awesome. So,
they were. Wait a minute. I'm just saying.
Okay, yeah, but what Florida recruits and what South Carolina recruits can be two totally different animals.
Well,
but can you not
that,
make the argument that a good coach will find a way to work with the players he has?
Sure. And I think he's trying to do that. He's doing that by being positive. He's doing that by creating open competition and proselytizing that we're a team about competition. We're a unified family. All those things. But here's the thing, guys, week in and week out in the SEC, if you don't have the talent to compete against other SEC talent, this is what's going to happen.
But hold
on.
Is this not a Texas A&M team that just beat Alabama? Right. I mean, it wasn't like you got, your asses handed to you by Vanderbilt.
Yeah, but they also didn't blow out Alabama. They won in the end off of a 44-yard
My point being, you weren't playing St. Mary's School for the Blind. You were playing a good team.
Yeah.
Here's I think it's a bad measuring stick.
I don't know where Carolina stood in the recruiting rankings prior to Shane Beamer showing up. I agree with you in that we've also seen the opposite, which is there's a ton of talent there. The current coach may have been a great recruiter, just didn't know how to use them. And so the scheme changed, the talent, and came into alignment. And again, I'll caveat everything I'm saying with the infamous Roy Kent. If you ain't in the locker room, you don't really know shit, right? So Beamer, it's probably twofold, which was the cabinet wasn't full and he's trying to find his legs with what he has / thinking ahead to the recruiting of where he wants to go. And I kind of juxtapose, to use a fancy word, him with Heupel. I think Heupel is a really good offensive mind. Now, Hendon Hooker took a little bit to kind of get into the groove because that's the same quarterback we joked about that never met a receiver he couldn't overthrow. And then by week 4, 5, 6, whatever it was, started getting in the groove. He had a system in mind and it started to gel. The only thing that gives me pause and concern for South Carolina right now is I'm not sure what they want to be, but I don't think we're going to find out this season. I think there's too much turmoil. There's too much, just the pieces aren't there. And they're going to get a lot of punches to the face in the meantime.
Well,
I think they're going to hurt. I think the saving grace for South Carolina this year will be that final game of the season. I don't think they're going to get the shellacking from Clemson that they're used to getting. I think they can. I think they can win that game. No, I think South Carolina.
Well, Clemson just lost.
I will put it on the line right now. South Carolina beats Clemson.
Okay.
Clemson has 3 losses already.
Of course.
Yeah, they lost to Pitt, and not even. It wasn't even really close.
And South Carolina has 4. So what are we arguing here? My point is, Mac,
what we're arguing is that South Carolina plays tougher teams week in and week out for one thing.
Right.
Yeah, but Mac, you don't get to make the argument. Oh well, it was Texas A&M and they just beat Alabama. Yeah, and South Carolina just struggled mightily against the bottom of the barrel Vanderbilt, which you just said everyone expects to beat them, and South Carolina almost lost.
Right. But my point being, you can't.
No, your point is you don't get to come back and claim, well, Texas A&M's a hell of a lot better.
Why are you trying to censor Mac? Why are you trying to censor Mac?
Why are you trying to cancel me?
Because you got your head up your ass.
And none of that will make any sense to anybody for another 2 weeks.
Don't let the facts stand in the way of a good story. My point is, you make the claim about Texas A&M.
I don't need facts. I can make all this shit up as I go along.
I'm not saying
you learn
Shane,
nothing.
I'm not saying Shane is or isn't the guy. I'm saying you are not capable of working with what you have. Is that not an issue? Some people shouldn't be head coaches. And I'm not saying he is or isn't that guy. I don't think we know yet.
Will Muschamp.
Right.
No, I agree with that. But
think about Tennessee as well. What, 5 coaches?
Yeah.
Between Jeremy Pruitt, Derek Dooley, Lane Kiffin, and Butch Jones. They're on their 5th coach since Philip Fulmer
left.
Yeah. And that's why I say South Carolina is who they are the remainder of the season.
Right.
It's one of those crush the guy, don't crush the guy. It doesn't matter. We're simply not going to learn more. This offseason, as he gets his team set for the next season, is where I think you can rake the guy over the coals. If that's the point. If they're a shit show next year, then oof.
And that's the point I'm trying to make, Thor, is that you can't write him off.
I'm not.
After losing to Texas A&M.
I was simply writing off your comment about Texas A&M and Alabama when they just almost lost against Vanderbilt. That's all I was saying. I don't want to write the guy off. I think you have to give him time. I've always echoed that sentiment every time you've said it. My point being, at some point, you do have to expect that some people are not meant to be head coaches, Urban Meyer. And maybe that this guy might fall into that category.
Urban Meyer's 3,
right, but you can't make that
statement. College. I was referring to NFL. Hey, maybe he'll be at LSU
I can't hear
next
you
season.
Over my bling.
Yeah, he'll be at LSU next season.
2 of those he can attribute to God, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. And not to dwell on obviously South Carolina. I was just a little confused. You've got Luke Dodo, who is clearly out.
Yep.
Zeb Nobody, who is now, I don't even know where the fuck he's at, because now you've got Brown, whoever the fuck that is. Like I kept jumping back and forth, and I'm like, who the fuck is Brown? No, I don't, because I don't know enough about him yet. Number 15, and I'm like, now they got another quarterback. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing?
I'm not sure they know. I think it feels as though, and I haven't seen the game yet. I've seen the recap and snippets, like the punt return and stuff like that. I haven't seen the whole thing, but it kind of feels like they're throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks at this point. And I'm not, look, again, to quote Grinch, to quote Roy Kent, we're not in the locker room, so we don't know. We're not in the organization, we don't know. Right. I mean, they may have a better sense of what the real deal is, and they're just kind of, could be a situation where Brown is a guy who, is talking about entering the transfer portal, and they want to keep him. So they're like, well, let's put him out there and see what he does.
Right.
Because we're probably not going to bowl games, I
agree. Okay. Well, again, I am on board with everybody. You got to give him time, give him the off season, let him start recruiting. Let's see what this guy's about. People are way too hasty to start pulling the trigger. So, I think if you don't give him time, you're doing yourself a disservice, and then you're going to be right back to square one if you bring in somebody new, and you're going to have to wait.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Yes.
Moving
Tennessee, Alabama. This one started out real close, but sure as fuck didn't end that way. Clearly somebody made halftime adjustments and decided they were going to walk away. But Bryce Young struggled mightily in the first half here. Whatever Tennessee was doing, keeping him off his game. In the first half alone, he struggled in terms of getting it done, from running to passing. They had some sparks of brilliance, but it was not a consistent game in the first half. But clearly in the second half, they managed to get it together.
Well, I think one thing we can take away from so far this entire season is that Alabama is not the number 1 team in the conference right now. They're just not. We've seen several teams play them very close and figure out some things. Maybe they lost, but have figured out ways to make their life very difficult.
Miserable, right?
Yeah, they're not the team that they have been in the past. They're still a great team. Don't get me wrong, right? They're number 2 in the league, but they're not the daddy anymore.
I would say Bryce Young was the difference maker in that game.
In the second half.
Yeah, I mean,
but not in the first.
I mean, he finished 31 and 43 for 371 yards.
Yeah.
And 7 points first quarter, 14 points second quarter. after Tennessee went up 14-0,
Mhm.
which, got everybody's attention. Third quarter, 2 field goals between the two of them, and then Alabama scores 28 in the fourth.
Right.
But I'm with you. Their offensive line is not good. It's not good.
But we know why Alabama, and here's the thing. We know why Alabama scored 28 points in the fourth quarter. They had run 3 times as many plays as Tennessee had. Tennessee in like the first half, Alabama had like 74 plays. Tennessee had like 27. Like that's monumentally different. And Mag, you and I used to talk about this years ago when Florida's defense would get fucking gassed because they spent so much time on the field. You cannot win if your defense is on the field 3 times as long as your offense. Those guys you don't have enough.
If you're 3 deep at just about every position.
But who is?
Who I mean, Alabama's one of the few teams that I think, maybe not every position.
In your Georgia defense.
Georgia, yeah.
In your box stats there, Grinch, does it say how many plays each team ran? Any time of possession, any of that?
Let's see. Fumbles.
I mean, because again, you are talking about a wildly different number of plays.
This particular doesn't show time of possession, but I mean, here's the thing. One of the big difference makers in addition to Bryce Young was Brian Robinson, 26 carries for 107 yards. 26 carries is a fair amount. I mean, I know when you're getting into the 30s, that's like a lot.
Right.
But Tennessee's top rusher was Hendon Hooker with 12 carries for 26 yards, which was probably him just fucking scrambling. Otherwise, Tyron Evans had 7 carries for 30 yards. They couldn't run the ball.
Right. You begin to worry when your quarterback's your top rusher because that just runs the risk of him getting hurt.
That and with teams that don't have the depth to just keep rotating in another player.
Right.
That's why I think, emotion gets you through the first half. Depth gets you through the second half.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's a simple fact. I mean, 52 points. That's a prolific offense in the grand scheme if you saw nothing else. But you're right. Tale of two halves. Tennessee showed up with all its emotion and energy. The Josh Heupel offense was clicking. Bama was on its heels. It was. And their defense is not dominant. It's not dominant. It just wore them down. Between time of possession.
Yeah, time of possession. 41
and,
minutes for Alabama, 19 minutes for Tennessee. That is just astronomically different.
Yeah.
That means your defense is on the field for 41 minutes. They're never going to be able to keep up, and you're eventually going to start giving up
They're
points.
going to have their
I was interested when it was 14-0. I was like, holy shit, this is going to be a game. Let's watch this one. And then again, second half, Tennessee just fucking folded, as teams will sometimes do. All right, so let's go ahead and hit the last one of the day. That is LSU Ole Miss. We all went Ole Miss. Mac, again, you decided to go LSU with all of their dysfunction and Ed Ogeron-ness.
Show
show him the door.
The interesting comparison to Ogeron was when Ron Zook found out he was parting ways with Florida. They won the remainder of their games because they played loose. They didn't care.
You didn't care,
right?
They were just free.
You're saying
unfortunately
that
for LSU, no, what I'm saying is Ole Miss is a good enough team where they didn't buy into that. Okay, that's great. You're playing with a lot of emotion. Same deal.
Right.
They went up 7-0 first, and then Ole Miss was like, okay.
And then just
17 points in the second quarter, 14 points in the third quarter.
7 points.
And then LSU gets 10 points in the fourth. Okay, whatever. 31-17
garbage
final.
time. Yeah.
And we see the gamesmanship beginning of the week. Haas, maybe it was you. I can't remember. Somebody texted out Matt Corral may not be playing. Clearly that was gamesmanship because he showed up again. And I definitely think that's gamesmanship by Lane Kiffin going, we're not sure he's going to be able to play.
Well, and the other thing is the retiring of the Eli Manning number 10.
Yeah.
Fucking Kiffin wearing number 10. He wants Arch Manning so bad.
Yeah, but we all know he's going to go to Georgia.
He wants Arch Manning so bad.
Well,
man, it's hilarious. But hey, on a related note, who's going to LSU?
No one.
I can't fucking believe Lane Kiffin's name has been thrown out. I've also heard Mario Cristobal.
They were talking about Jimbo Fisher yesterday.
Yeah. But because Jimbo Fisher has that like no buyout clause or whatever.
Right.
Design. So if he does leave, he can.
Right.
But why? If you're Jimbo,
why would you go there?
Why would you go there?
Well, you've built if you're Jimbo Fisher, you've got a team now that's on the precipice of becoming really, really good.
Yeah.
Relevant.
Why would you go start over?
And the AD, if I'm not mistaken, the AD at LSU was the AD at Texas A&M that hired Jimbo Fisher.
Okay, so there's some connection there.
He's a big splash guy,
and he's won a championship at LSU under Saban 2003.
Yeah,
because he was there between 2000 and 2006 as a coordinator.
I saw a stat during the Alabama game that Alabama has won 6 national championships since this modern era.
Right.
Who's next in line? LSU. But Saban won 1, Les Miles won 1, and Ed Orgeron won 1. 2 years removed from fucking winning the national championship, Orgeron's getting a $17 million buyout.
Yeah, 2 of those 3 got fired from LSU that you named. So
yeah.
But to answer your question about LSU in terms of their schedule, they're running the gauntlet in the last 4 weeks of this season. They're going to play Alabama, they're going to play Texas A&M, and they're going to play Arkansas, all in the West. I don't know that any of those are wins for LSU.
No, and look, let's be honest, right? LSU was a strategic pick by me. If I'm strategic, not down,
desperately strategic,
tomato. If I'm not down, I pick Ole Miss in that game, right? Without a doubt.
I give credit to Ole Miss. Ole Miss played a complete game.
They did, and have been recently. So that is the week that was. Again, Haas, Grinch, and I all swept the week with 5 wins. Mac, you came up 1 short. So now we are looking at Grinch still in the top spot with 59 picks. Haas and I in first loser with 58. And Mac, you dropped an extra spot. So you are now 5 behind the winner with 54. Your road becomes harder to hoe because there are only so many weeks left. So
but you're a quality hoe, so we expect you'll be able to accomplish.
Your strategic picks now, your desperate strategic picks are going to have to come more frequent.
On another sports channel, I heard somebody say it's a long road to hoe, and I was like, that's not what that phrase is. Clearly, you've never farmed.
He clearly is a wonder kid.
Yes. All right, so let's jump into the week that is only 4 games. A lot of teams taking a bye week in this week. So Halloween coming up. A lot of teams not playing, but we do have 4 games. Grinch, you're obviously going to go first because you're in the overall lead. This should be fairly easy. You really only got to pick 3 because you already made one of your picks way back at the beginning of the season with Georgia.
Yes, I did.
We're going to start with you. It'll go Haas, me, Mac. Unfortunately, you're going to end up in last place, so you will pick last. But you'll get to see what everybody else does and allow you to make an informed decision. All right, Ole Miss, Auburn. Ooh, this is a good one. You want to come back to that?
I think that's going to be a great game.
It's going to be Matt Corral versus Bo Nix,
and it's at Jordan Hare.
It is in Auburn. Yep, home game for them. Who's going to show up? What Bo will show?
That's right. I'm going Ole Miss.
He is going Ole Miss. All right, Kentucky, Miss State. Mike Leach likes Almond Joy. You like Almond Joy. Sounds like
Kentucky's the more complete team.
So
hold on. So you saw that video of Mike Leach going on for like 20 minutes about the different kind of fucking candy he likes.
I know. Like, what the fuck?
God.
Yeah.
It's actually playing in the upper right of the screen I'm looking at right now.
It's news.
They're showing like nerds. They're showing
I love nerds.
Like
fucking love nerds.
Or whatever the fuck. Anyway.
Cotton candy.
Yeah.
All right. Missouri, Vanderbilt.
I'm going Missouri.
Going Missouri. And then you already picked the Georgia-Florida game. You are going Georgia. Yeah. There you go. Haas, let's go ahead and move to you. We've killed more time than I intended. So Ole Miss, Auburn. You and I are still a game down. We're running out of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is one I was looking at, and according to this particular line site, this is a pick 'em.
Yeah. What's the split on this one?
The spread is right now is pick 'em.
Oh,
it's even.
This is again at home for Auburn, so you assume that will give them an edge at some level. All right, so what are we thinking here?
Yeah, well, here's what I'm thinking, and I think it comes down to the quarterbacks, and I think Matt Corral is better than Bo Nix.
Yeah,
because he's more consistent for sure.
He sucks at home. He sucks at home.
And I've heard too that he was really beat up, which is why he wasn't as proficient and or efficient this last week. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that plays a factor. I have to go Ole Miss. I was looking for a reason to choose Auburn because I think it could be a catch-up game to get caught up with Grinch, but I don't think I can do it. I think I've got to stick Ole Miss.
Pick Auburn.
Ole Miss it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Miss State, Kentucky,
and
Missouri, Vanderbilt,
Missouri.
and then Florida, Georgia.
Nobody's beating Georgia right now.
Nobody's beating Georgia right now. Okay.
Nope.
All right. So Ole Miss, Kentucky. Yeah. All right. So now it is me. I'm going to go
forward to this.
Kentucky
Look forward to this.
over Miss State. I'm going to go Missouri over Vanderbilt, and I'm going Georgia over Florida. I mean, I'm not a fucking idiot. Look,
come on.
Georgia can't.
Come on, Dan Mullen.
Look, Georgia, I said this weeks ago, Georgia's defense is just stifling to the offense. And we're already struggling with our offensive situation right now with this whole 2 quarterback. Who knows what the fuck is going on? And then if we flip the sides of the ball, your offense or your playmaker Pickens, like he's not even back yet, right? Still not even back.
Not yet. He's running routes, limited routes.
But our secondary can't tackle for fucking shit. So I don't see really how. That's why I'm surprised it's only a 2 touchdown spread here. I got to imagine.
Well, that's at the beginning of the week. They may be trying to get a lot of people to lay bets
50-50.
on the Florida side,
50-50.
right? And that's what it is. They may already have a ton of bets on the Georgia side, so they're trying to get them to lay them on the Florida side. Because here's the thing.
Okay.
If they keep it within, it's at 13 and a half. If they keep it within that, of course you win, right? So that's probably what it is.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. You know more about that than obviously I do. So I will default.
Betskings.com here.
Bet with your heart, not with your mind.
Yeah. So I'm going with Georgia here.
I don't think that's how that saying goes. Nice try, Grinch.
And it sure as shit won't be how that saying goes.
It does if Grinch is your bookie.
Yeah.
Worst bookie ever.
That's it.
So what does Dr. Disrespect say? Come.
All right, let's reverse the roles for a minute, Grinch, and let's assume Florida is sitting as Georgia is right now. Would you go Georgia? No. You'd be like, okay, Florida's too dominant.
This is
of course they're not. It's got to come back around to your year eventually.
You have one of the most elite defenses in the history.
Can you stop setting him up?
No.
Okay. He does a good enough job of it himself. You don't need to set him up to brag on Georgia.
At the end of the day, brother,
we're going to censor him.
I feel bad for you guys. It's been 40 fucking years, 41 years. You're due a championship.
Hey, fuck that hope bitch.
So yeah, that's right. That's right. Don't let her back in here. All right.
That SEC shorts was fucking gold. It was gold.
So
I don't know. It might have gotten trumped by the Tennessee
one.
Yeah.
What's this?
Not
Sunscreen?
today. Not on
You're
my
not getting past me today.
All right. Auburn, Ole Miss. You're right, Haas. Matt Corral is the more consistent player. The problem is if you don't know which bow you're getting, he can obviously change the game all by his onesie.
Sure can.
I know.
It's a gamble. Are you willing to gamble on a 50-50 quarterback? Or are you willing to gamble on the guy who's Mr. Consistent?
Should I make my picks first? Will that help?
That's where, bro, hey, Thor, where you're at right now is where I was at. I was hoping Grinch's diatribe would go on for another 10 minutes so I could do some more research because I'm sitting there. I'm trying to talk myself into Auburn and I couldn't do it.
We're running out of options. The problem is
I know. I'm well aware. But he's only a game up. So if you strategically and surgically choose the right match or two, this flips the script in a heartbeat.
I mean, look, we got like A&M, or we got Mississippi State and Arkansas next week, Kentucky and Tennessee next week.
There's some good ones coming up.
Florida and South Carolina. Who knows how that'll go?
Yeah, but
God bless you.
Hey, hold on.
Yes. I love how he's laughing and cackling now.
Shit.
Hey, Grinch, what is Georgia ranked? Let's go ahead and just that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a shameless plug.
At the end of the day, though.
I'm sorry. We're at the top, but we're only halfway up.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, if I choose Auburn and they beat Ole Miss, I've closed the gap right then. And it's like you pick Ole Miss and then Auburn wins, you're going, fuck.
Yep. Yeah, now you got 2 games to make up. Look, what 2 weeks ago, we missed some calls.
Yeah.
So it's none of us saw Auburn beating Arkansas, right? Nobody saw. We all went Florida and LSU won that game.
So let me ask you a question: is Auburn better than LSU?
Not statistically.
Auburn's not better than LSU statistically.
Nope.
Just make a goddamn pick.
No,
I got places to go, man.
You said you had time.
I was 41 when we started this episode.
Yeah, but you identify as 21, so you're fine.
I'm 46 now. Jesus.
Fuck. Fine. I'm gonna hate myself. I'm going.
I wasn't pregnant before we started this.
Fine.
I got 6 kids now.
No, to your question, Ole Miss is 3-1 in conference. Auburn's 2-1 in conference. Ole Miss is 6-1 overall. Overall, Auburn's 5-2. So no, statistically, Ole Miss is better.
Oh no! I was comparing Auburn to LSU.
Oh, to LSU
as a better team.
Oh,
Auburn's better.
Yeah. Way better.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. LSU versus Ole Miss. I went Ole Miss because I thought absolutely they're a better team. Now I'm like, I don't know. It's a little different. All right, you're probably right though. Ole Miss. Let's be intelligent. We got more games down the stretch. Don't.
Here's the we've chased one guy to the room. The other one's falling asleep.
Okay, Mac, it's on to you. Auburn, Ole Miss.
It is the Bo show. We're
Bo
going
show.
Auburn.
Oh shit!
Bo is going to be balling out.
I feel like I should pick Auburn.
Yeah, you already picked. Once I made my pick, yours are locked in, buddy. Sorry. Kentucky, Miss State. I'm going Kentucky.
Okay.
I fucking change that shit right now while we're on the call.
Fine. Pussy.
Missouri. And we're good.
Okay.
Come on.
So you're going to Auburn in Florida, huh?
I'm going Florida.
Okay.
All right.
At this point, I mean,
what is he? What
the
is he
fuck
playing
does
for?
It matter?
Yeah.
I can taste the bananas right now. So, at this point, I'm just leaning into it. And you know what?
Test that battery. Let us know how it is.
If it works out,
then more power to you. You're going to look
like I said,
genius.
it's a rivalry game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Georgia's going to win that game. But there's an off chance.
I mean, look, hold on, stop. Weirder shit's happened.
No, yeah, without a doubt.
Weirder
Especially in
shit
games like that. So, I mean, is Florida going to win that game? No, probably not. But
if they do, Grinch will never hear the end of it.
Oh, goddamn, no, he won't.
As Daddy always said, there's a reason why you play the games.
Yeah.
All right, let's move this along.
Any given Saturday.
ETSU and Furman. ETSU barely squeaked out a win over Furman 17-13. We all picked ETSU. So we're good there.
Tyler was 22-30, 177 yards with the touchdown.
This is why we need Mac. We can't pick without Mac.
Yeah,
he was looking good last week. They shared the workload between their running backs. Yeah, they each had
phenomenal.
16 carries, 12 carries.
He just Googled that shit. Don't
you edit out the
I'm editing that out too. All right, let's move along.
I'm bringing Mountaineer.
Go.
Look, I've got to put this out here, and this will get edited out. I know without a doubt.
No.
VMI's coming to ETSU. Mac, anything you want to say before we make our picks?
Though, buddy.
That's well. Oh yeah, it is. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right.
Shit.
So we don't make that pick until next week.
Then I can.
No, I'm making that pick now.
Keep your ETSU stats straight, man. If you're going to roll this train,
I'm fucking done with you. Fuck off. I'm just so into football. I didn't even notice. I got the date right there. Wasn't even paying attention. We've discussed the week that was, the week that is. Don't have any time for the week that will be, but we'll get to that down the road. So, gentlemen, as always, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. We will see how week 9 falls out when we come back next week. And we won't be closing any gaps, obviously, but that's okay. At some point down the stretch, maybe we reel Grinch in. So we're not going to have any changes at the top spot. As always, gentlemen, thank you very much. And we will do this again next week. All right.
Always a good time.
Mm-hmm.